Before I say anything else, I need you to pause for a second because what I'm about to share tonight changed the way I look at pain, skin aging, and inflammation. And honestly, it took me many years in medicine before I fully understood it. In school, they teach you how to write prescriptions fast. They do not always teach you this. Here is the kind of thing that almost never gets enough attention online. One simple oil rubbed into the skin at night may help calm irritated tissue, support collagen, and in some people, ease long-term joint pain in a very real way, not just as a theory, in practice. In published research, some reports even suggest that certain plant oils used on the skin night after night may help lower markers tied to inflammation in older adults over a matter of weeks. That is what makes this so interesting. Not a procedure, not a complicated routine, just a nightly habit done with care and consistency. And stay with me, because the oil at the very top of tonight's list is something many people already have in their kitchen and have never once thought to use this way. When you hear what it is, you may laugh for a second and then think, wait, why did nobody tell me this earlier? Before we begin, think about your own body for a moment. Where do you feel the most stiffness when the day ends and the morning begins again? Your knees, your lower back, your hands, your shoulders. Tonight we are going from number 5 up to number 1. And every oil on this list works a little differently. That matters because the body at 70 does not respond the same way it did at 35. After the mid-60s, the skin becomes thinner and a little more open, which means oils can move in more easily than they once did. That is not always a weakness. Sometimes it is an opening. And tonight we are going to use it. Coming in at number 5 is black seed oil, pressed from the seeds of a plant that has been valued for a very long time, but only more recently studied in a modern way. What makes it special is a compound called thymoquinone. Think of that compound as a careful firefighter, not a.k. irichal shrar nadarkar can per der. When inflammation settles into the joints or soft tissue, it does not just flatten everything in sight. It seems to interact with some of the chemical messengers that help keep pain and swelling going. That is important, especially in older bodies that do not recover as quickly once inflammation starts building up. In one study on older adults with chronic knee discomfort, people who used black seed oil on the painful area regularly for a few weeks reported much stronger relief than the group using a placebo. That kind of result gets attention for a reason. And there is another reason this oil matters with age. As the years pass, the body becomes less efficient at repairing tissue after stress, strain, or inflammation. That means even a mild problem can hang around longer than it should. Black seed oil may help calm the signals that keep the body stuck in that irritated state, giving repair a better chance to take over. If you want to use it in a simple way, choose a cold-pressed, unrefined version. The stronger scent is often a good sign that it has not been overly processed. Warm a small amount in your hands and massage it slowly into the most painful joint for several minutes before bed. Clean skin helps. Slightly damp skin may help even more. And do not rush this part. Massage matters. Contact matters. Consistency matters. If you want to make it stronger, you can pair it with a properly diluted, calming essential oil so the blend works on more than one inflammatory path at the same time. Small step, big difference, and we are just getting started. Now let's move to number 4, because this is where things start getting even more interesting, especially for skin that feels thin, dry, sensitive, or tired all the time. Number 4 is rose hip seed oil, not rose perfume, not a capsule, not a floral extract, the actual oil from the seeds inside the fruit. This oil is packed with natural compounds tied to skin renewal, including forms of vitamin A, helpful fatty acids, and other plant nutrients known for supporting recovery. In studies on aging skin, regular use has been linked with better hydration, smoother texture, and softer lines over time. But here's the part people often miss. This is not only about appearance. As we get older, the skin barrier becomes weaker, the natural lipids that hold skin cells together begin to drop, and when that happens, the skin does not just look older, it behaves more like an open door. Irritants get in more easily, moisture escapes faster, and low-grade stress from the skin itself may quietly add to the body's total inflammatory burden all day and all night. That is why rose hip oil belongs in this conversation. It helps support that barrier. It helps the surface stay calmer. It helps the skin hold together better. And when the skin barrier improves, the body has less to fight in the background. I remember hearing from an older woman who had years of constant skin sensitivity and a dull, aching feeling in her arms and shoulders that nobody had really explained well. After weeks of using rose hip oil over those areas every night, she felt a clear drop in discomfort and noticed her skin felt less reactive too. That does not prove magic. It proves that simple, daily support can sometimes change more than you expect. So if your skin feels fragile, angry, or always a little inflamed, keep listening because this one deserves far more attention than it gets. To use rose hipseed oil, well, keep it simple. A few drops are enough for each area. Warm it between your palms, then massage it slowly upward into the face, neck, shoulders, chest, or arms. Upward matters, especially on older skin that has spent years moving with gravity. You are not trying to scrub the skin. You're trying to feed it. Let the hands glide, let the oil sit, let the tissue soften. If you want to make the formula more stable and supportive, add a tiny amount of vitamin E oil. That can help protect the delicate fats in rose hip oil from breaking down too quickly on the skin before they have a chance to do their work. And yes, if this is already giving you ideas, stay with me because number 3 goes beyond the skin surface and into something even more surprising. Number 3 is magnesium oil, and I need to explain this clearly because the name confuses a lot of people. Magnesium oil is not really an oil in the normal sense. It is a strong mix of magnesium chloride and water that feels slippery on the skin. But the feel is not the important part. The root is. As people get older, the stomach often becomes less effective at absorbing minerals. That means even when someone takes magnesium by mouth, a lot of it may never be used well. But when magnesium chloride is applied to the skin, it may move through sweat glands and hair follicles into local tissue more directly. That matters because magnesium plays a role in hundreds of reactions in the body, and one of them is helping regulate pain signals in the nervous system. When magnesium is low, the system can become more sensitive. The volume on pain goes up. Small discomfort feels bigger. Muscles stay tighter. Sleep gets worse. And that turns into a vicious loop. If this sounds familiar, keep going because the next part may be the piece many people never connect. One of the most important reasons magnesium oil stands out is that it may help when pain feels bigger than the injury itself. There is a receptor involved in pain signaling that acts almost like a volume dial. Magnesium helps keep that dial under control. When levels are low, the body can feel over-alert, muscles can stay guarded, and discomfort can linger far longer than expected. So that is one reason some older adults with widespread soreness, poor sleep, or restless muscles say they notice relief when magnesium becomes part of their evening routine. In one study involving regular transdermal use, people reported less pain and better sleep over time. And that second part matters just as much as the first because deep sleep is where repair happens. If you improve sleep, you are not just resting more, you are recovering better. The easiest way to use magnesium oil is on the soles of the feet, the inner forearms, the calves, or directly over a sore joint or tight muscle before bed. A few sprays go a long way. In the beginning, it may tingle or itch slightly. That can happen. Many people notice that sensation becomes much milder after repeated use. Here is where it gets even better. If you apply magnesium oil first, wait a few minutes, and then layer black seed oil or rose hip oil on top, you create a kind of 1-2 sequence. The magnesium helps relax and prepare the skin pathways, then the oil follows into tissue that is more ready to receive it. It is a smart pairing. It is simple, and it makes a lot of sense for nighttime when the body is already shifting toward repair. But now we come to number 2, and this is the one that surprises almost everyone the first time they hear it. Stay with me here because it sounds unusual at first, but the reason it works has everything to do with how closely it matches the skin itself. Number 2 is emu oil. And yes, I know that may not be what you expected to hear, but hear me out because the reason it gets attention is not hype, it is chemistry. Emu oil has a fatty acid profile that looks unusually similar to the fats found in human skin. That means it tends to move through the skin barrier with impressive ease, reaching deeper tissue more effectively than many other oils. In research settings, it has even been explored as a carrier because of how well it can help compounds travel inward. But it is not only a carrier, it also appears to have soothing properties of its own. Studies have found reductions in redness, irritation, and local discomfort when it is used on the skin, and some people with arthritic pain report stronger relief with emu oil than with more standard topical products. That becomes especially interesting in older adults because after the mid-70s, the body has often lost a large amount of the collagen that once gave skin, joints, and connective tissue more strength and resilience. Collagen is not just about beauty, it is part of the body's structure. Emu oil has been linked in lab work to more fibroblast activity, and fibroblasts are the cells that help build collagen. So when people ask why an oil like this matters, the answer is simple. It is not just sitting on the surface. It may be helping support deeper repair while also calming irritation. I once heard from an older man who had struggled with severe hand pain for years, the kind that steals hobbies, patience, and simple joy. After using emu oil on both hands every night with real massage, not a quick rub. He found enough improvement to start building small things again with his hands. That is not a tiny outcome. That is life returning in a form he thought he had lost. If you decide to use MU oil, do not dab it on and walk away. This is one of those oils that rewards time and technique. Put a small amount in your palms and work it into the tissue slowly. Go over the knuckles, follow the tendons, press into the stiff places with steady patient movement. 5 to 10 minutes of massage is not excessive here. It is part of the method. The more you help the oil meet the tissue, the better the experience tends to be. If you want to build a stronger blend, a few drops of copaiba oil can be added because compounds inside copaiba appear to interact with immune-related receptors that help calm local inflammation without any intoxicating effect. Together, the deep-reaching quality of emu oil and the soothing action of copaiba can create a very elegant nighttime combination. And now we come to number 1. This is the moment I promised earlier, and the reason I asked you to stay to the end, because the most accessible oil on this list, the one with the strongest everyday presence in many homes, it's also one of the most studied. Number 1 is extra virgin olive oil, not just any olive oil, cold pressed, good quality, rich in polyphenols, used directly on the skin every night. I know that may sound almost too ordinary to be the winner, but that is part of what makes it so powerful. People assume help must be rare, expensive, or hard to pronounce. Sometimes it is sitting in the kitchen the whole time. High-quality olive oil contains compounds that act on some of the same pathways targeted by common anti-inflammatory drugs. It also carries squalene and other protective substances that support the skin barrier, help reduce oxidative stress, and may defend the skin from the kind of wear that builds up with age. Simple, familiar, quietly extraordinary. And the more you understand what it does, the more surprising it becomes. What makes extra virgin olive oil so special is not only what it contains, but how many angles it seems to work from at once. One compound in particular has drawn attention because it behaves in a way that resembles the mechanism of familiar anti-inflammatory medicine, only through a natural food-based route. The effect from a single use may not sound dramatic on paper, but this is not about one night. This is about cumulative support, night after night, week after week, layered over time. Olive oil also contains squalene, which the skin naturally makes when we are younger, but produces less of as the years pass. That matters because squalene helps create a soft protective film that shields the skin from free radical damage and dryness. On top of that, olive oil is rich in oleic acid, which helps support the structure of the skin barrier and reduce water loss. When the skin loses less water, it often looks calmer, feels softer, and sends fewer distress signals into the body's larger inflammatory system. There's also the mitochondrial angle, and this is where it gets fascinating. As we age, the tiny energy centers inside cells tend to create more oxidative byproducts, the cellular exhaust that speeds damage. Polyphenols found in quality olive oil appear to help neutralize some of that stress in skin cells after topical use. That means this oil is not only a moisturizer, it is a protective tool. Observational research has even linked higher skin levels of olive oil compounds with fewer deep wrinkles, denser collagen, and lower signs of inflammation in older adults. So yes, the bottle in your kitchen may look humble, but the chemistry inside it is anything but humble. And if you use it with intention, it may become one of the most valuable parts of your nighttime routine. Here is how to use it in a way that actually respects the science and gives it a fair chance to help. Choose a high polyphenol extra virgin olive oil if you can. Early harvest is often a good sign. A slight peppery bite is another clue that the oil still has those active compounds intact. After a shower or right before bed, while the skin is still a little damp, warm some oil between your hands and apply it to the legs, arms, torso, hands, or any place where pain and visible aging seem to gather the most. Move slowly. Massage upward where possible. Spend real time on it. The goal is not to leave the body greasy. The goal is to let the oil meet the skin and sink in. Most of it should absorb within minutes if you do not overapply. And if you want the strongest pairing on this entire list, use magnesium first. A warm foot soak with magnesium flakes, or even a short magnesium oil application before the olive oil, can help prepare the skin so the olive oil moves in more effectively. Think of it as priming first, then loading second. That sequence can make a big difference. If your hands are the main problem, Try this simple evening ritual a few nights a week. Mix good olive oil with a little magnesium oil and a couple of diluted soothing essential drops. Warm it gently without overheating it, and soak or coat the hands for around 10 minutes while you sit quietly. No rushing, no multitasking. Let the tissue soften, let the joints rest. Then massage each finger, each knuckle, each tendon path. Give it time, give it weeks. This is not the kind of thing you judge after 2 nights. The whole point is repetition. The whole point is patience. That's how structural support works. And that brings me to the part that may matter more than any single oil on this list. I have seen what pain does to people over time. It does not just hurt the knees or the hands or the lower back. It slowly reaches into identity. It changes routines. It steals habits people once loved. Someone stops gardening. Someone stops cooking with joy. Someone stops visiting family because stairs feel too hard or standing too long feels impossible. Little by little, the body stops feeling like a partner and starts feeling like a problem. And the saddest part is how many people start believing that nothing can be done, that this is simply the script of aging, and they are expected to accept it without a fight. I do not believe that. I think the body remains responsive much longer than people are told. I think the skin still listens. I think the joints still answer. I think the nervous system still adapts. Not perfectly, not instantly, but meaningfully. The tools I shared tonight are not miracles. They are not replacements for medical care. They are not a reason to ignore serious symptoms. But they may be part of a smarter conversation about how to support the body in a steady, affordable, low-tech way. That matters, especially now, especially for people who have been told over and over to expect decline and do nothing except manage it. Sometimes the most powerful thing is not one giant intervention. Sometimes it is a quiet ritual repeated with care until the body begins to respond. That is the invitation here. Not false hope, not hype, just a reminder that your biology may still be more willing to heal than you think. So if you are listening to this tonight and your body has been feeling stiff, tired, inflamed, or older than your spirit, take that seriously, but do not take it as the final word. You are not too old for improvement. You are not too far gone for your skin to respond. You are not beyond the reach of relief just because you have more birthdays behind you than ahead. The body is still active, still adaptive, still trying, and maybe tonight is the night you begin helping it in a new way. Maybe you start with black seed oil for the knees, maybe rose hip for sensitive skin and aching shoulders, maybe magnesium for sleep, muscles, and that strange all-over soreness that never quite makes sense. Maybe MU oil for the hands that have worked hard for decades. Maybe extra virgin olive oil, the plain bottle many people overlook, becomes the one thing that finally earns a permanent spot by the bedside. Whatever you choose consistency over intensity. Choose patience over panic. Choose a routine you can actually keep, because the body often changes quietly before it changes dramatically. And if this gave you something useful, hold on to that. Let it stay with you. Let it turn into action. One oil, one evening, 1 week, then another. The science may be complex, but the habit is simple. And sometimes simple, done faithfully, becomes powerful. If this message helped you, remember it later tonight when the house gets quiet and you are deciding whether to care for your body or postpone it one more day. Start tonight. Stay with it. Let the routine build and give your body the chance to answer back.